Today we started multiplying polynomials. The problem that we had on the board was this one right here. It was 3x times 2x, and the answer is 6x squared. So we looked at that one example, and we looked at 4x squared y times 8xy to the third power. We tried to figure out what the answer with this would be. And we had some answers that were thrown up there. We had 32 x to the third y to the third. We had 12 x to the seventh y. We had 32 x squared x y cubed. And we talked about what we noticed here, and we noticed that up at the top we did 3 times 2 and got 6. So we knew that we had to do 4 times 8 and we got 32. And then one of the boys also noticed that the exponent values have to be attached to that variable. So, and they also said, well, wait, if you can't see it, there's a 1 there. So looking at x squared, x to the first power, they said, wait a minute, I remember that we had to add those exponents. 2 and 1 is 3. And then they looked at the y values. So we have y to the first and y cubed, which would be 1 plus 3 is 4. So we had 32 x to the third, y to the fourth. Sorry about that. If you went down and looked at this problem, you'll notice it's kind of close. We have the x's here. 2 and 1 is the third, and 1 and 3 gives you the fourth. We looked at this problem using something that we call area model. An area model is like if you had a rectangle, and we thought about this as like the length times the width. We had the length times the width. And this also, this box over here, kind of looks like the multiplication tables that we would have, where we would look at x times x is x squared, and then x times 5 is 5x, and then 3 times x is 3x, and then 3 times 5 is 15. Then looking a little bit here, we notice we have 5x and 3x are like terms, so we could do x squared plus 8x plus 15. And that's how you would multiply these binomials. I'm going to look at another problem. The guys had a hard time with this, so I'm just going to say, hey, do you remember when we did this? I'm like, oh yeah, that's just distributive property. 3 times x and then 3 times 2. So it's 3x plus 6. Well, let's take a look at something that's a little in-depth. 3xy multiplied by 2x plus 6y. So we can do distributive property and say 3xy multiplied by 2x, and then we would have 3xy multiplied by 6y. So here you have 3 times 2 is 6, x times x is x squared, y, and then 3 times 6 is 18, xy squared. So your final answer would be 6x squared y plus 18xy squared. Now you may be wondering, can you add these together? But if you notice, you have an x squared and a plain x to the first. And the variables have to be raised to the same power in order to combine them. So we cannot combine them, and this would be your final answer. This problem here, we have 3x squared y to the fourth multiplied by 8x cubed y squared. We have 2 monomials here, and we want to first multiply the coefficients. We have 3 times 8, and then we have x squared times x cubed, and y to the fourth times y squared. And these are all in parentheses just to show multiplication. So we have 3 times 8 is 24. X squared times x cubed is x to the fifth. Y to the fourth times y squared is y to the sixth. And now we're just going to add these up. We have 24 plus x to the 5th. Oops, sorry. What am I doing? 24 x to the 5th, y to the 6th. There you go.